What's up guys, I'm Ben and this is KameTrick, and it's a channel where we enjoy drifting and grassroots drift life. Today we are actually going to be having one of my teammates on the channel, something that I've been wanting to do more and more of, and you guys have been wanting to see as well, more of the crew that I run with. We are going to be installing these ProSport gauges into my teammate James's FC3S RX7. And what's really cool about this is there's not a whole lot of options for gauge pods. He wants to replace his center vent and put the gauges there. So I'm actually going to be custom designing and 3D printing one for him. We're going to be basing this around my 240. So if we come and look at my 240SX, you'll see that I have a center gauge pod replacement. This is actually a piece that I believe Toby Broadfield made for me. Awesome dude. And I run Speed Hut gauges, which I think are some of the best gauges on the market. I've had these since 2014 and they do a great job. But ultimately what we're going to be looking for is something very similar to what I've got back there, where there are two gauges mounted in the center vents. He doesn't care about retaining any of the vent openings, and the gauges are going to be beveled to face over to the driver. To give you guys a sneak peek of what you can expect, we're basically going to be going from this to this. And here it is, fresh off the printer. So there are some burrs that'll need to be knocked down. Not a big deal. It does also have a texture, which you can see. It's a uniform texture and it's a smooth surface, but when it catches the light, you can see that. James was fine with it, so we're gonna use it as is for this project, but if it were up to me, I probably would have spray painted over it and tried to get something a bit more uniform. If you have an FC3S RX7 and you want one of these, or another chassis, and you want me to take a stab at it, if you're willing to give me some measurements, then DM me on any of my channels, Facebook, Insta, or here, and maybe we can work something out. I'm not trying to do it full time though, you know, just a little one-off thing. So next up, we're gonna install this bad boy. James is gonna come over to the garage where we're going to install the senders for the gauges, wire the gauges up, put them into here, and then put this into his FC. Let's get to it. Currently in the process of trying to get the senders on for these gauges. We've already gotten one sender on down there, that's for our water temp. And then oil on these LS motors is in the back here. But James, hi James.
Hello.
Is still running heater hoses, and really, regardless, I did this with like my whole intake off. So we are figuring out what all it's gonna take to fit back into that and get that off. So we ended up having to go to AutoZone and get new gear, disconnect the heater hose, but now that's coming out. Oh, that's that. All right. So we're just gonna put a little bit of thread sealant on. So we've got the wires ran to the inside, and we're gonna have to take some of the dash off so that we can run this up into here.
I want to put the wires up here, but I don't think it's gonna work. At the bottom. Might want to drill a hole.
I ran mine, of course, just up under here, and then any excess I just balled up and like kept out of the way there.
Depending on how far back it sticks, I could just go up through here.
Yeah.
But otherwise, if they, I don't think they would.
They don't.
They shouldn't stick back.
They don't.
Back here. So it'll just be going up through here.
That part goes a lot faster now that we know how to take it apart.
All right.
Interior stuff is such a pain in the ass. I'm amazed after all these years that mine doesn't break every time I touch it.
All right.
So next up, we're gonna cut down a little piece of bar to hold this gauge cluster in.
We're in the process of soldering these wires together. to extend them to the battery. Since these gauges will reset their settings every time they lose power, I'm running a inline fuse straight to the power since I have a kill switch, so they will constantly stay on. Takes me back to my Circuit City days.
Is this also part of the car audio stuff?
This is all car audio. Tucking wires, making it look pretty.
Man, Circuit City, are they even around anymore?
I don't believe they are.
Yeah?
I know they stayed around online for a while afterwards, but I think that even fell off.
I remember shopping at Circuit City. Well, I was so young, shopping wouldn't really be the term. I remember going with my parents when they shopped at Circuit City.
Hey, window shopping's a thing, right?
Yeah, for sure. Nice.
Perfect.
So how excited are you for finally drifting this next event?
Man, I've been having withdrawals here, so I'm pretty excited.
Yeah.
It's been over a year now.
Right, because it was
drifted August of 2017.
Yeah.
And for those watching, today is November of 2018.
Oh, jeez.
That bad.
It's been a long time. You're gonna be shocked. I suck a lot less at tandem. And then I'm gonna be shocked because your car is faster and I won't get to tandem because you'll just leave. I don't think there's enough lack of pressure that I can run to keep up, really.
I'll run wide like normal.
Yeah.
Good tandem line.
Oh man, that's gonna be so fun. I'm really excited.
All right, one left. We are now adding a fuse. So essentially this is going to go in here. I might get rid of the butt connector, don't really like them. But I may use it. And go into your fuse block, this will plug right in. Take your standard fuse out, put one in there with the right orientation. And there you go. So you just go straight to the fuse block.
I remember when I first discovered those and thought, like, where have these been every time I needed to wire something together?
What is this magic?
So anybody who has worked on car projects before understands that phenomenon where it should take, say, 4 hours and it ends up taking like 8. But we're almost done. We're getting everything in here. It's looking pretty cool. This is our 3D printed panel. The fit's actually really tight, so they probably won't go flying out, but we're about to glue them down from the back just to make sure.
And not just any hot glue.
No. So we are using Mrs. KameTrick, my beautiful wife, who's a dancer, her glue gun with this super fabulous shiny silver. Minus the sparkles, this is actually how the KameTrick S13 gauges are held on as well. And for those of you who are not familiar with hot glue, it's nice because it holds decently, but it's not that strong. So if we ever need to get these back apart, a good firm twist ought to do the trick. Fab. We'll plug it all back in, and we'll want to try to hold the gauges so that we don't push them out. Get this thing through there, skewer it. So now we have this all in here. Pro camera skills as I put a shadow on my own shot. And we will drive that and tighten. So long story short, we got everything pretty much buttoned up, but it was like midnight and we didn't want to fire up the car and wake up the neighbors. So let's check out how these things work. Or hopefully work. I'm pretty sure they'll work. We're going to let it get up to temperature and set the oil 10 warning lights. Alright, so we've got it in and it works, and we're going to see more of that in probably future drift videos. We've got one coming up in a couple of weeks.
Not too bad of an install. Took a little bit of time, mainly messing around, having fun, going at our own pace, not really trying to rush things, but overall it was a good build. Really like how it turned out as far as the plastic piece.
That's the first time I've ever worked with any of that 3D printing and PLA tech. I might try to do that some more. I was actually really surprised by how straightforward it was. Typically I do a lot of artwork and stuff in 2 dimensions, so trying to do 3D doesn't always click for my brain, like I don't think of it fully, but it was pretty cool how that worked out. So I might tackle a 3D printed project again in the future.
Do it!
Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Peace.